We'll take up a program to retrieve data from the web page by developing a simple web browser. So whenever we consider a web browser, the web browser sends an HTTP request to the web server. The web server processes the request and returns the HTTP response, that is the data, to the web browser. So here what we'll do is we'll try to implement a web browser, that is to retrieve a data from the web page by establishing or connection between the client and the server by using a socket. So in Python, there is a built-in module by the name that is socket, which is available, that facilitates the programmer to make network connections and to retrieve data over those sockets in Python program. A socket is much like a file, except that a single socket provides a two-way connection between two programs. So we'll see how to retrieve a data from the web page. So we need to import a module by the name that is called as socket. So import module by the name that is socket. Before we send an HTTP request, we need to establish the connection between the web browser socket and the server socket. So the connection is established by using a method that is available in the socket module by the name that is called as connect. Right? And before that, we should also identify, fine, so whether we are using TCP or IP protocol, and also the type of family address, whether we are using IPv4 or IPv6. So that is done by using a method by the name socket that is available in the module socket. So let's create a new socket. So new underscore socket, where this new socket, by using the module socket, what we'll do is socket, we use a socket function where we need to provide two arguments to this socket function. The first one, we are going to provide, okay, the family IP address, whether it should be IPv4 or IPv6. So that is given by using, okay, socket dot af underscore INET. So this represents, okay, the family IP address. When you create a socket, you have to specify its family address, and then you can use only addresses of that type with the socket. So we know we have IPv4 and IPv6. So if I'm not going to provide any number here, something like 6, then by default it is going to use IPv4 family addresses. Then with that, we should also specify, okay, the transmission control protocol. By default, the socket always uses what? TCP. So that is provided by using, okay, socket dot sock underscore strem, that is stream. Fine. So this sock underscore stream is a constant indicating the type of socket. The type of socket is nothing but it is always a TCP, that is a transmission control protocol. It works as a file stream, and it is more reliable over the network. Once after specifying these two arguments to the socket function and create a new object, that is new underscore socket, next connect we need to establish the connection. The connection is established by providing both the IP address and the port number. By default, the HTTP always uses the port number 80 for the web server. So what we do is we just once again connect the new socket. So new underscore socket, fine, dot, there is a method that is called as connect method in module socket. So we need to provide what now? We need to provide the IP address as well as the port number. So I'll give the IP address, that is the name of the website, as data.pr4e.org. Fine. So this is what? This is the IP address followed by the port number. By default, the port number is 80. Fine. So this port is a logical endpoint. The port 80 is one of the most commonly used port numbers in transmission control protocol suite. Fine. The next thing what we are supposed to do is we need to send an HTTP request. So I'll consider that is nothing but an HTTP request. So an HTTP request is sent by using get method. The get method is what to, it is similar to get the data, or it is similar to the read only operation. So just use get method. Along with this get method, I need to give the HTTP request. So HTTP, then followed by provide the website name. So data dot, okay, pr4e dot org slash. In this website there is a file by the name that is romeo.txt. So retrieve that particular file. It is nothing but I need to read the contents of that file, then followed by HTTP, fine, followed by slash, that is 1, then slash r, then slash n, then again slash r, then again slash n, then finally that must be followed by encode. Fine. So what we are doing here, I'm doing here get HTTP, okay, the data from where, from this website. What is the name of the file? Romeo.txt, followed by HTTP slash, okay, 1 slash r slash n slash r slash n dot encode. Fine. The command to retrieve the data, fine. So this is the command to retrieve the data. So the command to retrieve the data must use the carriage return line feed. So this is called as what? Carriage return line feed. The command to retrieve the data must use the carriage return line feed line endings, and it must end in what? That is slash r slash n slash r slash n. So this is called as the line break in protocol specification. Followed by this, there is also a function that is by the name that is called as what? Encode. So encode is a method applied on strings, will return bytes representation of the string. Okay. Instead of encode method, one can attach a character B at the beginning of the string for the same effect. You can also just attach the character B here if you are not using this encode method, or you can just use encode method, because whatever the data we are retrieving from this file, it will be encoded in terms of what? That is bytes. Fine. So this is your HTTP request. So what is the version of the HTTP we are using? We are using HTTP 1. Then, so what next we need to do? We need to send this request, fine, by using what? The socket. So just do new underscore socket, fine, dot, there is a command by the name, or there is a method by the name send in the module socket. So I need to send the request. The request is given here by using which method? That is the get method. So just use, okay, what is the name of this object here? CMD. So just give CMD. Fine. So what we have done till now, we have imported a module by the name that is called as socket, created a new socket by providing what? The family IP address, along with what? Okay, the transmission control protocol suite. Then once again, new underscore socket, we are connecting it by using IP address and the port number. Then next, what we are doing, we are sending an HTTP request. Then with that HTTP request, what we are telling, we are encoding the data, telling that we need to encode the data. Then after that, the next thing we are supposed to do is what? I need to receive the data. Fine. So how to receive the data? While true, okay, I'll create one more variable by name that is data, where whatever the data that is sent by the server will be received and stored where? Now in the variable data. So I'll take it as new underscore socket, because on either side the connection is established using the socket. Fine. So new underscore socket. So to receive the data, it has got a method by the name that is recv. So each time, how many number of bytes of data has to be received, specify that number. I'll tell 512 bytes each time. Fine. After that, I'll check with the condition if, okay, the length of the data, fine, is less than 1. If it is less than 1, then just what, break it, because there is no data in the file. Else, each time whatever the data I'm going to receive, it has to be printed. So data dot, fine, I'm getting the encoded data, okay, so I need to decode before printing it. Use the method decode, fine, and once again just give end equals to followed by to print each line in a new line. Then after that, what I need to do, since the connection is established, I need to close the connection. So new underscore socket dot close. Fine. Now I have mentioned, fine, the methods that are available in the socket module. So what are the methods that are available in the socket module is, the first one is the socket method, the second one is the connect method, the third one is the send method, the next one is the receive method, and finally what is the next method, that is your close method. Fine. So whenever you are using a socket, so all these four methods need to be used and create a connection by using what, a socket. To retrieve a data from the web page, it is nothing but when a request is sent, the response is sent, it is nothing but the response what we have is what, the data. So each time how many bytes of data it is sending, that is 512 bytes. Fine. So let's now just run this program and see what is the output we are going to get, whether we are able to read data from the web page. Just run it. Okay, can you see now? Fine. So this is the header, fine, that is sent from the server, that is your HTTP response to the web browser. So here the version is HTTP1, fine. So as I told, there are certain actions that are performed on the client side and the server side. The server side always performs the action in terms of the status code. 200 means it is okay, 404 or something, it is nothing but not connected, and so on. 200 means so it is okay, so it is giving all the details here. And finally, fine, so the data that is present in the file is this data, so it is sending the data. So that is what is happening in this particular program. So this is nothing but this program is working like what, a simple web browser, sending a request, fine, so processing the request, and once again the response is sent back to the server. It is nothing but it is opening the web page and trying to retrieve the data. So this is the first program where we are retrieving the data from the web page.